think he was a tight end in the movie.
Wow. Well, this probably went Facebook Live already. So Facebook people, I tagged Bob Brewer so all of your people will see it live while we're doing it. Facebook people of mine and Bob Brewer's, hi, welcome to Comic Spot. Today we have the amazing Bob Brewer. This guy is not yet a comedian, okay? We're just gonna out you right away.
Okay, fine.
But he has more sensibility in comedy than most people who are comics and post on Facebook. I'm not talking about 30, 40-year veterans of comedy. You know, his comedy is about equal to a 10-year comedy veteran, what you put out on Facebook.
It's 1 o'clock.
Was that your phone?
No, it was the computer telling me it's 1 o'clock.
I thought maybe it was a bird or something. It's pretty funny.
Days are so exciting now. I have reminders like that.
That's awesome. Does it tell you what day it is? Because I'm having trouble knowing which underwear to wear. This pandemic's really putting a kink in my armor.
Me too, yeah. But I stay busy.
So everything you put on Facebook is so funny. So why is it you haven't decided to get up on stage and have Rotten Tomatoes thrown at you and have your family disown you?
I don't know. Just life got in the way. I did stand up as a high school teenager.
You didn't. Tell me about that.
I was in a speech class, had a great speech teacher, Mr. Martin, and this was in 1965.
What city was this?
Texas City, Texas.
Okay.
And I did a Mort Saul monologue.
Oh my God, I love Mort Saul.
Yeah, I did a Mort Saul monologue. Everybody liked it. And Mr. Martin started booking me to do local Lions Club and Kiwanis and legal secretaries of Galveston County and that kind of thing. And I did it for a year.
Wow. How'd you like it?
I did. I enjoyed it.
Did you get hooked on the laughter, the thrill, the drug?
Yes, I did. I really did like it. My favorite comedians back then was Shelley Berman, Mort Saul, Bob Newhart.
Yeah.
He did a lot of stand-up back then.
Yeah.
Some of the old ones.
Yeah, you picked out some of the great Jewish comics that came for us.
That was mainly what was around back then. That was the best.
Yes, yes. So you did comedy in your town for about a year, and then you went on about your business and said, you know what, that was fun, and I'm funny. I got it out of my system, and then you just never made a choice to go back?
I never did. I thought about it. I've thought about it all these years. I just never did it.
Well, geez Louise. So is there anything you can pinpoint that stopped you from going back to it?
Probably nerves.
Nerves.
Yeah, I'm naturally introverted.
You are. Wow. You know how many comedians are naturally introverted that won't even talk? I have to wear a prom gown to an open mic to get a guy to look at me. There are so many introverted comedians that I find it so weird, you know, that they have difficulty looking at you in the eye and talking to you, and then they turn it on stage, and that's where they let it shine. All of a sudden they're not in. It's like Mel Tillis. He stuttered and stammered until he sang.
Yeah, I know. I've seen him. That's amazing. I can identify with that.
Yeah. Have you ever had anybody tell you that they would help you to get back on stage and get through that?
No.
I will.
Oh, okay.
I will help you. What city are you in right now?
I'm in Arlington, Texas.
Okay.
And we have a couple of comedy clubs here.
You do.
Uh-huh.
Is there a certain one you're looking forward to getting into?
No, haven't. I really haven't thought about it for a few years now. But like I said, it's been on my mind.
Now, is Arlington, Texas, where the Arlington National Cemetery is?
No,
Oh,
I,
I was
I'm
going to say that's a good place to start practicing.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's a good idea. I think I'll do that.
So I've done comedy at grave sites.
Have you?
Uh-huh.
Where
It's
at?
fun. It's fun to do in Vancouver, Washington, at the National Cemetery, right across from the VA hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I went one by one. It was Veterans Day and nobody put flags there. And I'm a veteran. Are you a
Yeah.
veteran?
Yeah.
Army?
Army, Marine Corps.
Marine Corps? Holy Toledo. That's really the service.
Yeah.
I was like in the Girl Scouts of the military. I was in the Army.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew you were.
So nobody was putting any flags on these graves, and the graves were from like the 1800s, early 1900s. And so I made up my mind I was going to go to every grave and say their name, their years of service, their years alive, anything that was encrypted there and scripted, I was going to say out loud. And so I went from one grave to another. And then I couldn't take it anymore. I had to do jokes.
Okay.
So I was, going over to one grave and telling them jokes about the other guy.
That's good.
Just to cope, because it's sad, they're all dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So have you practiced any comedy since the time you were in high school and did comedy for a year?
No, I haven't. There's been at times when I was with a group of people and I got going, but that was all just impromptu.
And so it was among your friends where you had a connection, so it was easier maybe to make them laugh, or was it some strangers?
No, it was friends.
Okay. And so if you saw yourself getting up on stage again, if you chose to, so I'm trying to get you to buy into this. Yeah. So careful of the sales lady. So if you saw yourself getting back up on stage, do you see yourself doing impressions of the great old comics of the past, using their material and impersonating them, which would be an easy way to start because you wouldn't have to even write the material. You could just say, I'm doing I'm going to just do their act. And the young people would get, they would get to hear somebody in their lifetime doing comedy of people who have gone before us. So it could be educational too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I would do a mix of both the old and the new.
Okay.
I mean, there's new comics out that I see now and then that I love. They're great.
Who do you love that's out there now that's new?
Gosh, my mind's gone blank too, like Sinbad.
That's okay. Like Bill Burr.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you like ones that are thinkers or people that create social change? Goofy? What's your style that you really like?
I do like the thinkers.
Oh, you do? Okay.
The Mitch Hedbergs.
Nice.
Yeah, and like a Bob Newhart back in the day.
I love Bob Newhart.
He was so subtle and funny, and I was always amazed at how he did that.
Yes. Him and Wendy Liebman, Rita Rudner,
Mm-hmm.
The subtle funny, like even Ellen DeGeneres, who was trained by Bob Newhart.
I didn't know that. Yeah, she is one that's witty and subtle and funny.
Yes. When I get enough confidence, I think I'll be subtle, but right now I'm like a bull in a china closet. I'm like, no, really, I'm funny. Listen.
That's the way I would have to be, I think. My wig goes out the window if I'm on stage.
What does?
My wit, my
Oh,
quick thinking goes out the window if I get on stage.
why is that? The nerves?
Yeah, it's just nerves.
You know what I did to get over that?
What's that?
Well, I had it a little bit worse than you because I got hit by a drunk driver in 96. So when I got on stage, I was nervous and I had the brain injury. So I would forget my lines and I have to bring notes up there, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's like, no, hold on, this is really funny. Let's see what's next. Oh, yeah. That's what. But when I got to the point where I could remember my lines and didn't have to look at my notes, what has helped me to maintain my wit is a lot of practice in my solitude, in my room, in my house. Practice away from everybody and pretend that everything in your house is a person in the audience, where you're looking at the light
Mm-hmm.
and you're just daring that light not to pay attention to you. You
Ooh,
know,
wow.
like, I'm going to talk to you. You're going to listen to me. I got something to say, you know, and you too, doorknob. Don't you even think that I don't have something that can relate to a doorknob, because I do. Don't make me pull it out.
I'm going to try that.
It helped
How did it go looking at your notes during the live stand-up?
horribly. You
Really?
have everybody's against you. Like
Oh,
I could have brought in all my VA files of a brain trauma to a booker, to a club, to the mic. I could have brought pages and pages of why I need notes. And under the Americans with Disabilities Act, you can't tell me I can't have notes. I could have done that, you know, but I didn't. I took the hits. So I'm going to go on stage and I'm using notes. Do you have a problem with that? And 9 times out of 10, people had a problem with it.
wow.
Yeah. I didn't get booked on very many shows you know, and then I found a few people like Comic Strip Live, Gladys Simon let me go on stage with notes if I framed it and explained it,
Uh-huh.
either serious or as the beginning joke. She said, if you're going to bring up notes, you're going to have to address it. You're not just going to go up with, you know, but a lot of the comics too, you know, they feel like it's cheating.
Yeah.
And now if the comics look at their phone, that's 5 notches above looking at paper notes. For some reason, if they cheat and look at a cell phone, it's so much better than someone with a brain injury looking at paper notes.
Wow.
There's
That's-
so much of that.
That's odd. That's interesting.
But it's the truth of what happened to me. So
What I've always heard comics say that, or anybody who does public speaking, is that the audience is really behind you. They want you to succeed. And I found that was true when I did it back in high school. If I started stumbling, they kind of tried to help me along.
nice. I didn't find those people anywhere.
The same.
When I would, you know, like when I'd go on stage, some of the young people, 99% of the young people were like, oh God, no, what has she got to say? And I literally would do sit-ups 5-6 years ago during my set so that people would stop, and some people would film me doing sit-ups or laugh because I was doing sit-ups for 5 minutes.
But you recovered from that, and you were able to stop using notes.
Yeah, it took 5.5 years of using notes, and in the last 6 months, I don't need notes anymore.
That's great. That's plasticity of the brain.
Yes, yes. You know, and so, but I was very, you know, I felt the calling to do comedy, and my need, you know, like, okay, here's 2 things, Bob. You have a desire to go on stage. Right now, you're toying with the desire. Then you've got something in your life that can go askew. Let's say you find out you have cancer. In my case, my daughter didn't want to talk to me anymore. when those two collided, I was toying with doing comedy. My daughter didn't want to talk to me anymore. When those two came together, I said, that's dag nabbit. I'm going to get on stage and make people, I refuse to die.
That's great. Yeah, you found something positive.
Yeah. So it was something that has actually given me new life amongst the rubble.
I can tell that by knowing you. I can tell that.
Thank you. So do you have any calling to get up and do comedy? Is that inside of you, a burning desire to make people laugh, bring them out of their pain?
I have that desire to make people laugh. I've always had that, and I do that when I get a chance. And right now, the chances are, like you said, doorknobs and the light and things like that. But yeah, I do have an urge to do it, but it's not a burning desire right now for me. But I think I would like to try it. What else? What else do I
Yes.
have to do?
If you will send me anything one of the great comics did who have passed on, and you want to do an impression of it, we can switch it up to where you're saying words like that they did, and saying their name and giving them credit. And if you give me a few of the things you've come up with, I'll help you come up with 5 minutes of material.
Okay.
It's
I can
much
do that.
easier for me to write for you than it is to, where'd you go? Just a second. I'm coming back. There we are. It's much easier for anybody to write for somebody else that they know than it is to write for themselves.
Yeah.
Unless you've had a lot of experience. I haven't had a lot of experience.
I can imagine. Yeah. And you're in Vegas now. I remember when you moved. I had just been to Vegas, and I there were hundreds of comics there. I knew that you would go over big there.
Ah, thank you so much. It's so fun here.
Yeah.
You know, the young people, like I came from Portland, Oregon. It was my town, you know, and it was never perfect. It was racist, and now it's passive aggressive and racist, which is not a good combination.
I didn't know Portland was racist.
So racist.
I go to Oregon a lot to Bend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And my sisters live there, and I visit as often as I can. And of course, I always come through Portland, but I didn't know it was a racist country. A friend of mine lives there in the entertainment business, Bill Richard. I don't know if you know him. He's a director, actor, and writer. He wrote the screenplay, The Happy Hooker.
What the heck?
Yep. Yeah. We're going back again, back in time. He did a movie that had Elizabeth Taylor, John Huston. Oh gosh, I'm going blank again. I've got the Sinbad, the Sinbad syndrome. But it was loaded.
You better hope he's not listening.
He'll like it. He would. He would like
it. He will love it.
Yeah, but Bill
That's
Richard.
so funny.
Bill Richard lived in Santa Monica for years, and I think he's originally from Chicago, but he moved to Portland. He got in some trouble with the SAG-AFTRA over a script that he wrote that he believed was plagiarized, and so he ended up moving out of the LA area. But he's still doing some movies and
wow,
video. Love him. He's great.
Well, when you come back to Vegas, you got to look me up, and we'll go have coffee and go to comedy. Maybe I'll push you up on stage.
I'll do that. I last time I was there, I met Jackie Pucci for coffee. I met Jackie Pucci. I don't know if you know her or not.
No.
She did a lot of stand up, but she hasn't been consistent with it. John Lovett got her started.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's how I met her and John Lovett through a friend of ours in LA.
You know John Lovett?
I don't know him. No, I don't know him that well. I've had some interactions with him, but that's it.
Yeah. I sure love his comedy
He's
style.
good. He's another one who's a thinker. He can come up with some pretty subtle jokes, and they're funny.
Yeah. You know, he trained Lisa Kudrow.
I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah.
know. Oh, were they on Saturday Night Live together?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
That I see the same quirky sense of humor in both of them.
I posted a picture of Dana Carvey as the church lady, side by side with the Secretary of Education, and and that's how I met Jackie Pucci. She saw it and she asked me if she could show it to Dana Carvey, and because Dana Carvey and John Lovett were doing an act in Vegas at the time, so that's how that came about.
Wow. So I want some material from you that you've written, and I want you to pick out a legend that you'd like to do. And it's going to be easy to put together material for you to make people laugh. It's going to be super easy.
Okay, good. Yeah, one of my favorites is Red Fox.
No way. Oh man, it would be so cool if young people would get to know who Red Fox is.
I don't see how they could not know it. That's my age saying that, but I don't
Yeah.
know how anybody could not know Red Fox. And
All the
especially,
comics here, I've run into two people that know who Red Fox are.
wow.
I
And
mean, of the younger, you know.
he was standard in Vegas for years, and that's a shame that they don't know him because his jokes are still funny.
Yes, and that's the thing is that you know you have the ability. Like if you've done that when you were in high school, you have the ability to do that and have it be a learning experience for people come into comedy and don't know the history of comedy.
That's true.
So
Red Fox
everybody,
jokes were so raw, though. And when I was in high school, I got introduced to Red Fox through Party Records. They called them Party Records back then, and they were just the stand-up doing his the audio of the stand-up doing his art. And I got to listen to Red Fox, several Red Fox Party Records, and
did you ever have the Red Fox Red album?
I never had any of his albums. It was this friend of mine had those albums, but I probably listened to it because we listened to so many of them.
It was so fun to listen to all of it when we were supposed to be hearing those, you know, those words.
I know it.
It was so fun. That's how we got trained.
Yeah, he was a good one. Of course, I was in high school at that time, and I was doing my stand up, but I couldn't use anything Red Fox.
No, no. And remember when his sitcom came out,
Yes, yeah. I
Sanford and Son?
Sanford and Son. I watched it every time.
Yeah, I love that show.
But he had to tone everything down on that, and it took away from him, I think. And
Yes,
and if the young people watch old Sanford and Son movies, they're not really seeing the great Red Fox.
that's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Wow. I can see in that comment your sense of humor.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can't wait to work with you because you send me some stuff. I'm going to help you.
I'll do it.
I have people helping me.
I appreciate it too.
So we've ignited you to dig back into that high school year of being on stage, making people laugh. You know, you did it. So we're going to do it.
Okay.
Yay.
Sounds
Yay.
great.
So, one of the things that I have done here in Vegas in my short tenure is that I signed up to be a street performer down on Fremont Street,
Wow.
where you stand in a circle, a 6-foot circle, and they've assigned you 2 hours that you can stand there and do an art. And so I'm a registered comedian on Fremont Street.
Wow.
I can have 2 hours when you're in town. And if we don't get you up on a mic or a show, for sure, we're going to go down to Fremont Street and stand inside of a circle.
Okay.
But it makes it really hard afterwards because you know, you're used to making people laugh in a circle, and it's really hard when you're not inside a circle anymore to make people laugh.
Really?
No, I'm lying. There's got to be a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, it has to be.
I haven't found it.
Okay.
Obviously, I haven't found it. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to tell the world?
Stop all the nonsense.
Stop all the nonsense.
Yes.
Be heard, be safe, use your noggin.
Yeah.
You can be heard.
Good.
Yeah. So parts of the country are reopening. How's it going where you're at?
They're reopening, but I'm still quarantining myself.
Me too.
I wear the mask. I hesitate to go out more than once or twice a week. And when I do, I try to keep it brief. And hopefully this will pass, but I don't think it will for a while. I think we've still got a few months to go.
Me too. I'm waiting until after the flu season.
The good idea, yeah. Yeah. I had a lot of respiratory problems last year, and I don't want to go through that again. I've gotten over all that, and I don't want to start that again.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming on. I'll
Thank you.
post this. Where do you want people to follow you on the internet?
I don't have a website. They can see my Facebook page,
Okay.
which is
Are you
cool.
doing, are you taking donations if anybody wants to donate to you, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Is there any cause you want people to donate to?
Um, I don't know any names of the cause, but if George Floyd has a place for donations, that would be a great place.
That's a good thought.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we came up with a plan to get you on stage. That makes me happy.
Me too.
You got a place to do it when you come to Vegas. If worse comes to worse, we'll be out there and people walk by you and you go, hey, come here, I want to tell you a joke, you know, or 5 people walk up and go, what are you doing? And go, I'm telling jokes. What do you think I'm doing? Playing a violin? I don't have a violin.
I have a violin.
Do you?
Yeah,
I played the violin.
Maybe I could do the Henny Youngman.
Yes. And who was the other guy that played the violin?
Jack Benny.
Jack Benny.
Yeah.
Jack Benny. Yep. See? You can
Yeah.
bring all these people back to life.
Wow.
You could do a show and just do one right after another.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, one-man show.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
These are ideas.
They are good ideas.
Thank you so much, Bob Brewer. I'm going to head on out.
Okay.
But I'll see you on Facebook. Keep being funny and send me some stuff. Let's work this out.
Okay.
Okay, I mean it.
All right. Thanks.
Bye, Bob. Love
Bye.
you.
Love you too.
Thank you.